Evening, Dwayne here, Dry Creek Wrangler School. Kind of late, kind of dark outside, but we came into the tack shed and got us a Coleman lantern hanging up out here with the saddles. It's kind of cozy, kind of like this out here. Going to go ahead and get a video posted a little bit earlier than what I usually do. Sunday, Mom and I are flying out. Had some folks in Tacoma, Washington call me and ask me if I would come out and talk to some young fellas out there, and so we're going to go try that and go see if we can't not make a fool of ourselves and see if we can encourage these young men. Tell you what, it's been a long, crazy ride since a year ago. 1 year ago, I was getting paid $12 an hour to wrangle dudes on a ranch in Bandera, Texas, and here we are today. But anyhow, I want to talk this evening about a subject that's come up on the channel quite a bit, a subject that comes up among men a lot and young men a lot. And it's a subject that's very much misunderstood today, I think. And women, it's important to women too. You guys always have to understand that when I talk, I'm comfortable talking to men and to young men. It's where I'm comfortable. That doesn't mean that this channel or the talks, the encouragement, whatever I'm doing, it doesn't mean that it doesn't apply. There's not a genre that it's set for, and what I say doesn't apply to anybody else. It's just me, folks. It's just where I'm comfortable at, okay? But we'll talk about respect and the nature of respect. Now, I've noticed there's a big problem in our culture today with definitions. There's a definite tendency that's been going on for years. People just change definitions. They're like water. They just change to fit what they want things to say. And so I'm going to define respect as I understand the definition. And then I'm going to talk about it based on that definition. And so if you get on here and say, I disagree because my definition of respect is something different, I'm not talking based on your definition of respect. Okay, so let's understand that. A lot of times you can understand the definition of a word by looking at the word itself. All right, respect. If you break that word down into two pieces, it's respect. Re means back, over, to do it again, to redo something. Okay, look it up. Spec is a base word that we get spectacles, spectator, spectacular. You see something and it's amazing to the eyes. It means to look. The base of the word means to look. So respect means to look again. That's what it means. It means to look back and to stop and take another look at something, to consider something. If I respect it, I stop and I look at it and I say, hey, this is worth me taking another look at. This person is worth me taking another look at and reconsidering whether I'm just going to pass over them, write them off as nothing, to count them as beneath my observation. That's what respect means. That's what it means. Okay. Now there's different aspects of respect. Okay. And I won't. This is not some kind of college dissertation on this. This is just where I'm at. Okay. There's respect that somebody has earned by their deeds, by things that they have done. All right. And there's also respect for a person just based on who they are. And it might just be the office or the position that they hold. Okay. There's either one of those. There's a respect that we have for ourselves, and there's a respect that we have for other people. And we're going to look at each of those. Now, I know that Mama's going to cover this in a video soon, because the question she talked in her video, and I'm not going to do her video for her, but she talked in her video, and I talked in mine about the respect that spouses have for each other. And the subject come up, what if they haven't earned respect? Well, there's earned respect, but there's also respect that just holds someone in a higher regard. They're worth taking a second look at just because they are, because of the office or the position that they hold. All right, we'll come to that in a minute. Respect, the first thing I think that's important when it comes to respect is you need to respect yourself. A lot of people who don't respect anybody around them, very disrespectful people, basically they don't respect themselves. They don't hold themselves to a standard of behavior that they consider respectable. And if you can't respect yourself, you're not going to respect those around you. Now, how do we respect ourselves? We set a standard of behavior for ourselves, and then we attain that standard of behavior. Now, what happens when we do that? Some knobhead out there can disrespect you. They don't know you. They don't respect the world around them. They don't respect themselves, and they treat you with disrespect. But if you respect yourself, they don't matter. You look at yourself and you say, you know what? I am a respectable person. I am a person that has achieved this level of decent behavior, and I respect myself, and therefore their lack of respect doesn't matter to me. Does that make sense? So you need to respect yourself. You're going to go into situations in life, and whether you are respectable, able to be respected or not, you're going to be treated with disrespect. I don't know how it is in women's world, okay? So I'm not going to speak to that. But I know how it is in the world of men, the world of working, the world of jobs, the world of things like that. Respect is not easily come by. And disrespect, in a lot of times, is a means of humor. Okay, think about it. It's one of the ways that men will derive humor from a situation, and that is by disrespecting the young or the less capable or whatever. It's just the way it is. It's not right. Maybe it's not wrong. It's just reality. It's just life. And you say, Dwayne, I am a young man, or Dwayne, I am a man who is of lesser ability. And in my circle, the guys that I run with, the guys that I work with, they treat me with disrespect all the time. What do? Well, the first thing you do is make sure you respect yourself. And if you respect yourself, then their respect carries a whole lot less weight, okay? Secondly, make sure that you conduct yourself around them in a manner that invites respect. You can't demand respect, okay? You can't order respect. You invite respect. And then it's up to them whether they give it or not, okay? And the other side of it is you respect other people. Now, we look at that as though we respect them based on what they're doing. But my goodness, no. A human being is a special thing. Now, there are swaths of society today, especially in higher education, that will have us feel guilty for being born because of the lie of overpopulation and the whole climate thing and whatever. And so they try to make you feel guilty for even being born. Okay? Listen, a human being is actually a very tremendous creation. Now, you want to say evolved or whatever you want to say, but we are at the top. Now, do we make mistakes? Yes. But that's just the nature of the universe. The greater the possibility of something doing something high and wonderful and magical, then it's just as possible for them to do something terrible and horrible, abhorrent. Okay? A frog is never going to commit mass murder. A frog is never going to rape. A frog is never going to colonize. It's never going to steal. A frog is never going to enslave. A frog is never going to do anything to that depths of evil and depravity. But a frog is never going to write a symphony. A frog is never going to paint a beautiful portrait. A frog is not going to build the Taj Mahal. A frog is not going to go in and build an orphanage and save the lives of all these children who are left destitute because of a war or because of a famine or because... So all of the wonder that humans are capable of, that power is the same power that makes them capable of the great horrors. All right? So respect a fellow human being just because they're a human being. Okay? You respect your fellow man, your fellow woman. Respect them for their office. Fellas, respect your wife because she's your wife. And I don't know you, but I know me. And the fact that your wife is your wife, probably, if you're anything like the rest of us guys, that speaks to her patience and her grace and her love, that she's still married to us. Now, if you're one of these bitter fellows who get on here who just talk down about all women, just don't waste your time, okay? All women are not like that. And I'm gonna paraphrase a quote from a TV show. All right, I'm gonna paraphrase to make it rated G, or at least PG, and it's from a TV show. All right, there's a show on TV, and I don't watch much TV. I get on and I see clips here and there, but there's a TV show that was on for a long time called Justified. All right, with Raylan Givens, and you know he says there at one point, he says, you know, if you and I'll do the best justice I can. If you meet a butthead first thing in the morning, and see that there's my, then you just met a butthead. But if you meet buttheads all day long, you're the butthead. If you had a encounter with a toxic woman at some point in your life, then you had an encounter with a toxic woman. If all the women you have ever encountered have been toxic, you're the toxic one. Okay? Let's look at reality. So respect your spouse. Listen, when you became married, two became one. You're now one. The marriage, the joining. If you disrespect your husband because in your eyes he hasn't earned your respect, you're disrespecting yourself, because the two of you are one. You're in this marriage, you're disrespecting half of your marriage, and you're disrespecting yourself. Okay? It's respect. Not all respect has to be earned. Sometimes it's a position. I was cowboying for a ranch in Colorado, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And we were moving a bunch of cattle up in Taylor Park. And there was not the guy I was working for, not my boss. There was another guy who was part of it. He had cattle in there. And I'm going to be careful here because I'm not going to, I'm going to give an example, but I'm not going to get on here and give names, and I'm not going to do any of that. So we were up there and we were pushing cattle, and a situation a situation arose. All right. Now, I was doing the right thing. But this fella comes along and he wanted me to do something else. But he wasn't expressing what he wanted me to do. And when I finally understood what it was he wanted me to do, it was not the right thing. He wasn't my boss. I wasn't employed by him. And all of a sudden he lost his temper and just went livid, just went crazy. And he comes rushing up to me on his horse, screaming at me, red in the face. And then he says, "I'll kick your horse." And he rode up and started to kick at my horse. Now, it's the closest I've come in a lot of years to pulling somebody off a horse and just dealing with business right there. It was totally, everything about it was just wrong. And I kicked my foot out of the stirrup to step down, but then I stopped. And I looked at him, and I refused to speak. So then he said, "What are you, stupid? Are you stupid? You're one dumb blankety blank blank blank." And I would not speak to him, and I would not get off the horse. Why? Because the dude was 70 years old. Because he was 70 years old. He did not act respectably. His behavior was not respectable. But he was my elder, and he had the position of a 70-year-old man. And so I did not talk back to him and verbally confront him like I would. And I did not physically get down and invite him to step down off his horse, which would happen in a lot of places in days gone by. Respect, I looked at him and I re-looked. I reconsidered. I started to act, and I stopped and I reconsidered, and I looked at him and I said, "This is a 70-year-old man. And I'm not going to disrespect him. I will let him sit there and disrespect himself. And I will continue on with my work." And I did not speak, and I did not act. And I went on. Respect is a bigger, deeper thing than your Google definition. Okay? If you want to be respected, earn the respect and wait for the respect. Give respect where respect is due, whether it's earned or not. Not all due respect is earned. I'm going to say that again. Not all due respect is earned. All right? Give respect where it is due. Respect yourself. And offer the opportunity for others to respect you. Now, often they won't, but that's okay. If you know that you are respectable and you respect yourself, it is enough. You say, "Dwayne, what does all of this bring?" Peace. Peace, man. Some of you are just eating your guts out inside over this thing of respect. People are not giving you the respect that you feel like you have earned, or you're not respecting yourself, or you're not living up to the standards of respect that you've set for yourself. Some of this stuff you can have control over. Some of it you can't. Control what you can, accept what you can, and move on. And move on. Do you want to live in a world? Do you want to live in a world without respect? Give or take? No. Nobody wants to do that. We know there's people out there who will not give respect, earned or not. You can't do anything about that. You can't demand it. You can't do anything about it. But you can take care of your little corner of the world. You can take care of that. And it's amazing how much you can affect outside of your corner of the world just by you cleaning up your corner of the world. Okay? All right, that's enough. Maybe this encouraged somebody a little bit. What do we got going on here? This is the Don Lino Africa. I've talked about it before. Really like this. I already had a couple cigars today. One of them was kind of strong, and so when I went to get a cigar for tonight, I wanted one that was pretty smooth, pretty creamy, had taste, but it was not something that's smacking me in the back of the head. And these Don Lino Africas, this is the 6x60, which I prefer, really fit the bill. And so that's just what we got going on here. I hope this helps you. I hope it encourages you. Let me remind you again, Mama has started her new channel, for those who haven't heard yet, Dry Creek Mama. And if you want to go over and check that out, I encourage you to check it out. We'll put a link in the description here of this. I do have a Rumble channel. I'm going to mention that again, where I have started putting more tobacco, pipes, and cigar content over there. And I have a couple of firearm videos coming up that I'm pretty interested in. And so that type stuff is going to be more over there, so that I can lower the blood pressure of YouTube and they won't keep demonetizing me. Because baby needs new shoes. And we do have the Patreon for those who want to continue to support this channel. So appreciate that. Click like if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't. If you've subscribed, click on that bell so that whenever I put something up, you're notified. And I think, to me, the most important thing to me at all is, if you know of somebody that any little thing in this will help, hit share, send it to them. We need to clean up our corner of the world. We worry too much about everybody else's corner, and we just need to clean up our corner. So let's clean up our corner, and let's help those around us and encourage them, and maybe it'll spread out a little bit, and we can make things a little lighter and a little easier for some folks around us. All right? We love you guys, and we'll catch y'all next time.